Welcome guys to another episode of Cheermaker. So in this video we're going to be ranking all of the Sonic Generations bosses. And yeah, I know I've been doing a lot of Sonic videos, but I've had a lot of good ideas with it, but don't worry, I'll get back to my hero stuff. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get started with the Sonic Generations bosses, starting with Metal Sonic, like the first boss in the game. He's a fun boss. He's definitely lower because the game has a lot of good bosses, but like once you like start knowing what you're doing and like also like learning a lot of like skips that you can do, it's a fun boss. Although it's getting kind of lower because there's a lot better bosses in the game, so I'll give it B tier. Next up, my least favorite, the Death Egg Robot. This one is just it doesn't it's so like slow paced compared to all the other ones where you're like running. This one is just like there's the first beginning part which is fine, but then when you get launched into the arena where you have to like get his hands to hit the bombs, it's so like slow and it's just not quite I don't know. I'll give it C tier. I think he's my least favorite of the bosses. Next up, we have Shadow. He's one of my favorites. He's not my absolute favorite, but he's definitely pretty high up there. He's a cool boss to fight, and I don't know, chasing after the orbs. While it doesn't entirely make sense, I'll let it pass. It's a fun boss, so I'll give it A tier. Next up, we have Perfect Chaos, which I'll put in S tier. I know he's just a really fun boss. I think a good amount of the boss. I think the reason I like him so much is because of the themes that plays. But besides that, it's still like a really fun boss, and I like that you're like going through like the destroyed environment while trying to like reach him. But yeah, I really like it, so I'll give it S tier. Next up, we have Silver. I really like Silver. When I first played the game a long time ago, I could not beat Silver, and I just hated fighting him. But now he's one of my favorites. It's just, and I like it. I will say, I like that. I like that it takes place in Crisis City. It doesn't really make sense to put it anywhere else, but it I do kind of wish that we got to see like a slightly different environment other than Crisis City. It's not that it's not anything wrong with it. The boss itself is really fun, but I just wish we saw like a tiny bit more variety. But besides that, no, I think it's an amazing boss. Even with what I just said, I think the environment around it looks really good and everything. But the boss itself is fun. It's like once you know what you're doing, it's a really fun boss. So I'll put it in A tier. Next up, we have the Egg Dragoon, which I don't really think I can pick. So I'll play it just even with Perfect Chaos. Again, I really like the theme. It's a fun boss. I really like it. It's just I don't know. I like all the different phases, and again with the intensity. I know it doesn't have as much intensity as like the original and Unleashed, but still I think it carries a good amount of that. And also like this, like it didn't get that big of one, but the slight redesign that it got, I also appreciate. It's a good boss. I like it. And last but not least, the Time Eater. This one, I will say it's a little underwhelming. I wish it was like a little more involved, other than like chasing him down for a long time, and then hitting him like 3 times. But that's not to say that it was a bad boss. It's just that I think they definitely could have done a little bit better, like shown with the rest of the bosses. But it's still, I think it's still a good boss though. But I think I'll give it like I think I'll give it B tier. But yeah, that'll be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and goodbye. Bon appetit.